Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 17th, 2020 General Session Agenda of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. We will begin this morning's agenda. We are, by the way, doing our level best this morning to practice social distancing, both here on the dais and in our audience. And so we will begin this morning's agenda with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Boyce.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this morning's agenda is not lengthy at all, so we actually have but a few people in the audience. Everybody else is out in the foyer practicing social distancing as well, and we will bring them in as the agenda unfolds. And so we will begin this morning. I'm sorry, we need a, Kevin, I'm gonna need a, oh, okay, go ahead. We're going to need a motion for the approval of the minutes of the October 29, 2019 general session and the March 12, 2020 briefing session.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved.
Okay. The engineer.
Resolution number 182-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with Affiliated Resource Group Consultant to provide expert knowledge and services to support multiple information system initiatives in the amount of $60,555.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cornell Robertson, Franklin County Engineer for every resident, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 366 days a year. Well, 366 at least this year. I want to start out by saying thank you all for the work that you're doing on the COVID-19 situation. I know it's very challenging, and I know that you are working very hard on it with a lot of pressure. I wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we know your folks have been represented at every one of our meetings, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
So thanks for being engaged with us as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks.
We'll continue to do so, and if there's something that you all think that we can help out with, well, please reach out. Don't hesitate.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Cornell.
This first resolution is a professional services contract with Affiliated Resources to provide technical assistance with our network infrastructure, firewall, and security system. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 182-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 182-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 183-20, report first of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting Red Path Road 0.69 over Stanford Smith Ditch Improvement Project, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $6,059.
Commissioners, as stated, this capital improvement project is in the southwest part of Franklin County in Jackson Township along Red Path Road over Stanford Smith Ditch. This resolution is the first report for right-of-way acquisition, includes 4 properties, and the appraisals were based on fair market value.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 183-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 183-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 184-20, report 7th of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Boer Road from Quail Creek Boulevard to State Route 104 project, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $37,000.
This capital improvement project is also in the southwest part of Franklin County, and it is along Boer Road from Quail Creek Boulevard east to State Route 104. This is a collaborative project that includes Franklin County, Grove City, Jackson Township, and the Franklin County Transportation Improvement District. This is the 7th report for right-of-way acquisition, includes one property, and the appraisal was based on fair market value.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 184-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 184-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cornell. Keep your employees safe and your family safe. The sheriff. Good morning, Dave.
Resolution number 185-20, resolution authorizing a settlement to Dennis R. Thompson for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, Director of Administrative Services for Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution approves a settlement of a vehicle damage claim from an accident that occurred on February 10th, 2020. Per the recommendation of Fleet Management and the Prosecutor's Office, approval of this resolution will provide payment in the amount of $500 to cover the deductible of Mr. Thompson and settle the claim. Pending any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 185-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 185-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 186-20, resolution authorizing an agreement with Franklin County Job and Family Services for police protection at 3 office locations within Franklin County in the amount of $1,163,000.
Commissioners, this agreement with Job and Family Services will authorize the continuance of protective services provided by 8 deputy sheriffs at the 3 office locations within Franklin County. The term of the contract will be through December 31st, 2020, and will not exceed $1.163 million. Pending any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 186-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 186-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the Domestic Relations Court, excuse me.
Resolution number 187-20, resolution authorizing a 2-year agreement with Netcare Corporation and Forum Ohio LLC for various psychological services in the amount of $180,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barb Reeves, Deputy Director. This resolution is requesting a contract renewal both with Forum Ohio and Netcare Corporation in the amount not to exceed $180,000 each to provide various psychological evaluations that have been ordered by the court. The cost for each evaluation will remain fixed for the 2-year period, and they did not increase their pricing from the year before. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 187-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 187-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 188-20, resolution authorizing a First Amendment to the 2020 grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Youth Services.
This resolution is requesting several changes to our 2020 grant agreement with the Department of Youth Services. These changes include transforming the alternative to commitment and the probation department to a new department called the Juvenile Community Enrichment Services. We're also looking to increase the grant administration budget by $10,000 to provide transportation costs for the youth and to realign funds within this program. Additionally, we're looking to realign funds within the residential treatment program and our substance abuse program between various providers. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 188-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 188-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 189-20, resolution authorizing appropriation adjustments related to various operating expenditures.
This resolution is requesting a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $24,601.05 for grants awarded to the court from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and the Treatment Research Institution for our Family and Juvenile Drug Court. These funds will be used to support recovery housing, drug testing, GED testing, and incentives. Additionally, the resolution is requesting a transfer of appropriation in the amount of $10,956.84 for the court's IT budget for for the purchase of Windows Server license and security maintenance. These items were originally budgeted in the capital expense, and we're just asking to transfer from the capital into other object codes. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 189-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 189-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Emergency Management Agency.
Resolution number 190-20, resolution authorizing non-general fund supplemental appropriations related to a state Homeland Security Program grant award.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Young, representing Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Resolution 190-20 is a resolution authorizing a non-general fund supplemental appropriation related to our state Homeland Security grant. Every year, consistently, the state of Ohio receives a DHS or a FEMA state Homeland Security grant. Our agency being the localest or the largest one within our 15 county regions acts as the fiscal agent for that grant. Traditionally, those grants are not awarded by the state until late fall and actually processed into the first quarter of the following year. So this first one is for an amount of $647,564, and this covers grant projects that range from special team sustainment to mobile vehicle barriers to dynamic message boards. As part of accepting this grant, because it was not included in our original budget for 2020, fiscal year 2020, and going forward, we need to do a supplemental appropriation right now. I'll gladly answer any questions.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 190-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 190-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 191-20, resolution authorizing a non-general fund supplemental appropriation related to a state Homeland Security law enforcement grant award.
Commissioners, this resolution is a similar resolution to the one before it. As part of the State Homeland Security Grant Program, there's a requirement that between 25 and 30% is earmarked or specific to law enforcement agency and usage only. So this is the same state grant award, all of the similar requirements. This has the added benefit of providing for special team sustainment and backfill and overtime as it relates to high security events such as OSU home football games during the fall season, as well as intelligence liaison officer training and some specific projects related to law enforcement only. This amount is $277,510.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 191-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 191-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 192-20, resolution authorizing a service contract with Motorola Solutions Incorporated for the continued service and maintenance of the Franklin County 800 megahertz radio communication system in the amount of $1,203,924.
Commissioners, this resolution is with Motorola Solutions to monitor, maintain, and manage our Franklin County radio system that is utilized by roughly 4,300 users on that system, ranging from public agencies to the Sheriff's Office to CODA. So this was originally included, or Motorola provided maintenance and service under the original contract, which was awarded and authorized in 2016 to move from an analog to a digital system. That contract is expiring, so this will undertake the next 17 months of maintenance on the radio system, as well as 4 years of maintenance on the sheriff's dispatch consoles. I'll gladly answer any questions specific to this.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 192-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 192-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank
Director
you.
Young. Appreciate all the work you're doing. Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 193-20, resolution in support of a Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Grant application for the Hancock Farm Conservation Project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Economic Development and Planning. Appalachia Ohio Alliance, AOA, is a nonprofit land conservancy dedicated to the conservation and stewardship of natural resources. The AOA is pursuing a Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Grant for the Hancock Farm Conservation Project. This resolution is seeking support of the AOA grant application for the project. The Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program funds the preservation of open space, sensitive ecological areas, and stream corridors. The program is administered by the Ohio Public Works Commission. If awarded the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Grant, the AOA will acquire approximately 5 acres of land in Jackson Township at the intersection of Jackson Pike, which is State Route 104, and Hibbs Road as part of their Scioto River Flyway Corridor Conservation Initiative. The site to be acquired is immediately adjacent to the 85 acres of land acquired by the AOA under a previous Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Grant, which you had previously issued a resolution of support for. I think that was about 3 years ago. Acquisition of the site will further AOA's efforts to protect land within the Scioto River watershed and along the Scioto River Flyway corridor. Ohio Revised Code 164.23 subsection B1 requires that applications for Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Grants be accompanied by a resolution of support from the Board of County Commissioners. The proposed conservation project is consistent with the Board of Commissioners' core principles by promoting the responsible and sustainable stewardship of natural resources and expanding community green space. Pending any questions, staff would request approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 193-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 193-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 194-20, review of petition to annex 4 acres, more or less, from Mifflin Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-04-20.
Commissioners, this resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 4.0 acres from Mifflin Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 1835 Stelzer Road. That's west of Stelzer, north of Interstate 670, east of North Cassidy Avenue, and south of Agler Road. Petition was filed by agent Tim Snyder on behalf of the owner, BMU4 LLC. 100% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 0420-2020 on February 24th, 2020, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved, and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, staff requests your approval of this resolution. And I believe there may be a speaker or two from the public regarding this annexation.
Yes, we have one speaker, Hakima Jabbar. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Yes, you did. Oh, good. Ms. Jabbar.
Yes.
So you have 3 minutes. Please keep, obviously, it sounds like you will, please keep your comments germane to the topic, and obviously, if you could respect the decorum of the procedures, but anyway, go ahead.
I'm here because I wanted to voice my opinion that I am for the annexation of Mifflin Township. My basis is because I have a documented case throughout the courts of Ohio Jurisprudence 525, and I explained this to Chief Price, and he had told me that he will get his officer under control because I have had a couple incidents with her, and that was not a case because it was somewhere around Agler Road where I met her again, in which she chose to throw me out of a facility I was in because she was doing private duty there. And so I just feel that their land mass needs to be a little bit more confined, and that at this point using law enforcement to enforce other decisions in the courts, on citizens that are citizens of Columbus just because they're in that township because that's near their home is not right. And that's just the gist of what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 194-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 194-20 has been adopted.
All right. Thank you, Jenny. Job and Family Services.
Resolution number 195-20, resolution approving a contract amendment with Advocacy and Communication Solutions LLC for early learning and development infrastructure services in the amount of $60,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner with Job and Family Services. We have partnered with Advocacy and Communications Solutions since 2017 on our multi-pronged approach to ensure our county is prepared for the July 1st, 2020 Step Up to Quality mandate. The scope of our 2020 contract includes continue to implement strategies to increase the number of star-rated providers in Franklin County, revising and implementing a paid media strategy, including radio and social media, and continue to provide in-person and online training for publicly funded child care providers to obtain and maintain their star rating. With the additional funding awarded through the Ohio Infrastructure Grant, we are amending the contract with ACS to expand outreach to limited English proficient providers. We will be translating the approved provider curriculum into other languages with a focus on Spanish and Somali, as well as enhancing our paid media campaign. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
Have JFS had any contact with the state with regards to extension of time on the Step Up to Quality mandate?
No, we have not, and as a matter of fact, the infrastructure grant that we're utilizing right now actually expires on June 30th as well. So we have not heard any new guidance on
I wonder
expanding.
right now, during this time, whether it might make sense, given the COVID-19 and all of the other relaxation of standards, whether it's a time to reach out again.
We can certainly do that. We can reach out to the state and see if there's any change in that mandate, in that date.
I mean, we should really, President O'Grady and Commissioner Brown, I agree with Commissioner Brown. We really we should actually advocate for that, because there's sort of a lag in the decisions that are being made today and where they sort of impact the whole system.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes I think with the urgency of now, everyone's sort of focused on everything that's in front of us. But from a county like Franklin County, largest county in Ohio, I think it's important that we are advocating for the agencies and people we
providers.
represent. And so I would encourage the director and you all to really jump ahead of it and make a push for an extension, because it's just inevitable considering school being out and all of the domino effect from that where it's more than likely going to be needed, and they'll probably accommodate.
Right.
I will share that message with Director Bivens, and we'll be in touch with you to talk about our strategy going forward.
Yeah, I should get with, I'm glad you brought that up, Commissioner Boyce. We should talk with Deputy Director Janice and our Government Affairs Director, Lauren Rummel, as well, on Thursday at the County Commissioners Association of Ohio, in our General Government Committee meeting. Well, not at the County Commissioners Association, virtually, in our conference call. We're going to be discussing a number of issues that we want to bring up with the governor's office to see if we can't put together a legislative package with the governor to present to the legislature. And this should be, I think, a part
Absolutely.
of that conversation.
Yeah.
We want to put together do you want to speak to this, Eric? We want to put together a package, a legislative package, and so we probably need to talk to make sure that, well, you're on my committee, so, so we should, this should be a part of that conversation. I know that having these virtual meetings so that going forward, we don't have to have these in-person meetings. We can have conference calls or video meetings in the future is the number one topic of conversation. But we want to put together a list so that they can present a legislative package to the legislature. Director.
Commissioners, good morning. Eric Janis, Deputy Administrator. To that point, Lauren has been working on a list. I reviewed her draft of it this morning. She's making a couple of tweaks. I expect that you will get some formal memo late this morning with a summary of those things that she's received from the departments. And literally, to your request, Commissioner Boyce, while we were sitting here, I texted her and told her to add this to the list. She has been working with CCAO and aware of their collective county list, and we'll be working with them on that. So we'll make sure to add this to
This
her
one
list. I
is a
literally
big
just
one,
texted her.
and
Yep.
we've been pushing on it, and now is the time, I think we really need to add this one top of the list
Yep.
too.
So you'll be receiving that this morning. We also understand that it is an ongoing list as things arise.
Yeah.
As we're dealing with this crisis and our departments make recommendations to us, we'll continue to, add to it for your notification, but also be communicating directly with CCAO and our legislature about it.
You know, for
Great.
all the hours that everybody's been putting in on all the conversations
Oh.
that everybody's been having, you know, late into the evenings over the weekend, first thing in the morning. I mean, we were texting until midnight last night with county administration. We started texting at 6 o'clock this morning. You know, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, it can't, I don't think it should go without saying that the idea that the election was canceled, less than 18 hours before voting started yesterday is a bit ridiculous. And I know we were all having that conversation yesterday, that, you know, I hate to beat a dead horse on this issue, but, you know, that, for all the great work that's been going on over the last couple of weeks, and for all the fantastic things that the governor's done over the last couple of weeks, that yesterday should have never happened. And I apologize that I brought it up. It probably didn't need to, but I'm still frustrated that here we are on election day, and we had poll workers being notified after they went to bed last night that they needed to show up this morning, and then being re-notified again well after they went to bed last night that they didn't need to, you know, show up again this morning. And then we became, you know, the subject of international news. You know, as a friend and colleague said, Ohio made Iowa look good in our primary process. So it's, and I, you know, I have repeatedly said over the last week or so what a fantastic job Governor DeWine's done during this crisis. But yesterday should have never happened. And
No, it
I
shouldn't.
apologize for distracting our meeting this morning, so.
Well, but
And Mark, if you're gonna write about this, please, make sure that, you know, you convey my sentiment of apology for this, but I'm just still frustrated that this didn't have to happen. The election didn't need to happen today, and I understand that, and I understand what they were trying to do, and I agreed with all of that, but it was handled very poorly. Sorry.
I was just going to say, President O'Grady, that I think the connection here, though, is legislative opportunity. That as we're putting together an agenda with Mr. Janice handling, I think having some legislative item that addresses election emergencies is important too. That's a much more complicated request, I know, but it's important that we represent the broad, you know, request. And so I would just, to your point, add that in as a legislative request that in extraordinary circumstances, from a county perspective, here are the things that we need to stay functional and be prepared for any catastrophe or crisis or whatever. And so I think your point was, to add to your point rather, that this is another legislative item that we should have in our queue to present in terms of requests.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have a motion?
Oh, yes, sure. If you'd like one, yes. Move to adopt 195-20, if there are no comments or questions.
Second,
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 195-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
To get back to the election, though, what I would like to say is to thank our poll workers, who,
Absolutely.
many of whom were up very late last night, and some early this morning, thinking they were going to be working the polls. You know, we owe them a great debt of gratitude, and, you know, they didn't know what they were getting into when they agreed to work the polls this year, that it was going to be such a mess. And,
No question about it.
They should have been able to know ahead of time, ahead of middle of the night or first thing in the morning, whether there was going to be an election or not. And this is extraordinary times, but they should have been able to know before this morning.
There's no question about it. I'm not trying to call into question the decision that was made to end, to not have the election at all. I mean, this is certainly a unprecedented time. I'm not trying to call that into question at all.
No, not at
This
all.
is, you know, it could have, you know, there were requests made by election directors last week to not have this election, to cancel this election last week. There was plenty of time Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Right.
Sunday to cancel the election. To cancel it at the 11th hour, you know, to present it to the judge as opposed to present it to the legislature like it should have been done.
Yeah,
The
they
entire
could've
way
done
that
it
this
as
was
a
handled
mandamus.
turned into just a giant fiasco. I was on the phone last night with Lucas County. I was on the phone last night with Cuyahoga County. You know, we were getting notification back and forth. It's just been,
But the poll
one.
workers were too.
and they were all over the state. Poll workers were put in a
Right.
bad place. All over the state, election officials were put in a bad place. This didn't have to be handled this way, and I hate to be Tuesday morning quarterback and call all this into question. The governor has handled this crisis beautifully until this.
Until this.
And so moving forward, we have to avoid this type of a thing. At the end of the day, you know, this morning, we're not voting, it's okay. But now we have a 2-month stretch. This is gonna cost a lot. This is gonna create a lot of problems, a lot of confusion, and frankly, I don't know. I would assume lawsuits and whatever, but
Commissioner, President O'Grady, since we're on this for a minute, I think you're absolutely right. But I would zero my attention on the Secretary of State. I just
Well,
think,
Yeah.
and when you look at.
that's probably true. I'm just,
No, I agree with you.
probably absolutely right.
I'm only
I'm
saying
just
this because,
frustrated.
it really goes back to our argument from a year or two ago with regards to the Secretary of State opining on promotion and advertising of making sure people know where polling locations are. And I think this is really, in the midst of a crisis, you see sort of either your best or your worst get exposed. And I really think, I put this solely on the foot of the Secretary of State. That is his job. That is what he is charged to do by the Constitution and the Ohio Revised Code. And he failed. He failed every citizen in Ohio. He failed every county in Ohio. And while we got to stay zeroed in on the safety around this pandemic and this crisis, which I agree with and may even agree with the action, but I wholeheartedly agree with you. They could have made this decision last week. You know, they could have made the decision long before the in and outs. And I think their lack of understanding of the legal structure around that call is just awful in this crisis. And so I just, you know, I put this fairly at this squarely at the feet of the Secretary of State, and am just disappointed in where we are on this. And quite frankly, I know we were in this legislation, but you know, this is such a big deal. You're right to bring it up because whether whoever's on the ballot or not, I mean, this is the kind of thing that you just can't recover from the standpoint of financial costs, the disruption and the confusion that it brings, and it just
I think it's
is
a
unfortunate.
breach of confidence in the system, and that concerns me going forward. The breach of voters will have, and that's why I brought it up, to thank the poll workers who really have been on the front lines of this. I know all of us have staff members who work the polls, and lots of people we know who work the polls, and they were the ones who really are out there all the time doing poll work. And, you know, it's a breach of confidence that people will have, and that's a concern.
We've all known for some time what we're dealing with here. We've all known for some time the potential, of this disease. We've all known for a long time, and the governor is 100% right about, the choice between constitutional rights and
life.
and life.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's, I don't question that at all. But that choice was there Thursday, Friday,
Right.
Saturday, Sunday. And the knowledge and understanding that canceling an election lies with the legislature was there. They have the best legal minds. They have, how this happened. I am still befuddled, how this could have possibly happened the way that it did, how it played out the way that it did. The directives from, the Speaker of the House, I sat last night in amazement watching this thing unfold. And it is, I was completely embarrassed by this entire thing, and I felt for the, the hundreds of poll workers that were told one thing, then told another thing, then told another
Yeah.
thing. And it's just, all while they were trying to, get ready for the day, a long day.
A long day, yeah.
And all over the state. We were just dealing with Franklin County. There's 88 counties in Ohio where poll workers are doing this. They were in Cuyahoga County. They were told to set up and prepare for the election. Then they received a robocall saying, "Don't come, prepare for the election." Then they had to be reached out to again to be told to come back and prepare for the election, and then told again, "Don't come back to prepare
Right.
for the election."
Oh, I know.
And I get it. It's a pandemic. People's constitutional right versus their health and their safety. It's understandable. They're not wrong on that. But to not think or to not admit that they screwed this up is just not okay. And I'm still frustrated, and we should move on with our agenda. I apologize. Apologize, everybody. We spent way too much time on this morning. It's just still very frustrating, and it's we need to move on. Are we on justice policy and programs, Dean?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I apologize to everybody. That was a long, vent. Justice policy and programs.
Resolution number 196-20, resolution authorizing a contract for services between Franklin County and Southeast Incorporated for case management and other supportive services related to the Pathways Reentry Programs in the amount of $78,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. As you know, with our Pathways program, we have in our office embedded a full-time mental health case manager from Southeast. They are able to do our assessments as well as to help us with transport and connections to mental health services. This contract allows us to extend those services. If pending any questions, we would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 196-20.
Second,
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 196-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 197-20, resolution authorizing a contract for services between Franklin County and Aldus Incorporated for the planning and implementation of a Pathways program for justice-involved males at risk for recidivism and unintentional drug overdose in the amount of $612,167.
Commissioners, this is the resolution that's been a long time coming. Working on the heels of our nationally recognized Pathways for Women program, we are pleased to announce that we put out a competitive sealed bid for services to reproduce that program in a gender-specific way for men. Alvis was the sole bidder, but certainly was able to meet all of the solicitation criteria, and certainly were very helpful during the negotiations. I want to thank my colleague, Megan Perry-Ballinier, and her team for this. But we're excited to be able to launch the Male Pathways program. This will get the contract in place. We'll do all the necessary groundwork, and then as soon as we are able to once again gather congregate groups for programming in the jail, we'll be ready to launch. Pending any questions, we'd ask for your approval.
That sounds good. I'd love to be kept up to speed, and would love to visit once it's up and running. Would love to
Absolutely.
meet those young men and see how that.
Absolutely. Look forward to that, Commissioner.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 197-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 197-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 200-20, resolution authorizing funds to purchase naloxone for distribution to justice-involved individuals being released from the Franklin County Correction Center through the fiscal year 2018 Comprehensive Opioid Site-Based and fiscal year 2018 Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration Grant Programs in the amount of $25,000.
Commissioners, I cannot thank County Administration, the clerk, and my colleague Megan Perry-Ballinier enough for allowing us to put this emergency resolution on. We worked yesterday to get this on the agenda. In light of the current situation with COVID-19, we have been working with the Sheriff's Department as well as the courts to try to get as many folks out of the jail as possible who were nonviolent, not a danger to the community. We wanted to get them out of that congregate setting, and certainly one of the least pleasant congregate settings that we have. The courts have been, and the Sheriff's Office have been nothing short of fantastic in working with us on that. We did hear from particularly the municipal court judges that they would feel much more comfortable releasing their folks who have substance use disorder, who may not today be connected to ongoing treatment. They would feel much more comfortable releasing those individuals if they could release them with a Narcan kit. This emergency resolution allows us to purchase approximately 60,000 doses of Narcan, and we will be handing those, the Sheriff's Office is working with us, we will be distributing those to individuals who are leaving the jail who have tested positive for opioid substance abuse, and who are being released early by their judges. So we believe that this, there's no question in my mind that this will save lives, not only in terms of getting folks out of the jail where they potentially, if there were some sort of outbreak, would be in danger, but equally importantly, to protect their lives should they go back to using on the street. They'll have this overdose prevention in their pocket.
Worth every penny. If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 200-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 200-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. And I'd also like to say, I put flyers in front of everybody on the dais except for council. Sorry, I missed you. During this time of when congregate meetings are being limited, many of the AA, NA, other 12-step meetings, mental health recovery meetings, peer support meetings have been canceled because of the directive to not meet in large groups. What I've done here is put this out so that your offices have it, the clerk has it. I've also sent it to Public Affairs and would ask that we could share it via our social media mechanisms. There are online meetings for Alcoholics Anonymous as well as Narcotics Anonymous. There are 24/7 access numbers that you can call to always reach someone. And then there's the Smart Recovery Line. There's also an app, a free app for your smartphone called Sober Grid. You can download it and receive 24/7 immediate connection to live peers who are in recovery themselves. So at least in this period of time when folks aren't able to gather in groups, we want them to know that there is support for folks who are in recovery, and we would encourage them to continue to reach out for these. Anyone who has any questions certainly can reach my office at 614-525-5577. And as I said, we'll distribute this information as widely as we can via social media.
Michael, if you can get this to us, we can put it on our Facebook too.
Yes, ma'am.
This is really important information. People are suffering, and if they can't get to a meeting, this is such important information to get out. Thank you for getting this together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Michael. Purchasing.
Resolution number 198-20, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,828,546.31.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry-Ballinier, Director of Purchasing. This resolution requests your approval of 117 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 16 out of 33 eligible POs are being presented for award to small and emerging business enterprises. These 16 POs total $91,470.97. This equates to 48% of the eligible PO volume and 47% of the eligible PO dollar value. These 16 POs are being presented for award to qualified business enterprises in the following categories: 2 minority-owned business enterprises, 1 small and emerging business enterprise, and 13 women-owned business enterprises. Pending any questions, Commissioners, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 198-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 198-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk, do we have any journalizations this morning?
Commissioner, we actually have one more resolution
Board of Commissioners.
under the Board of
Oh,
Commissioners.
hello. The Board of Commissioners. I was
Resolution,
ignoring Chris, as I usually do.
resolution
It's
number,
impossible, Commissioner.
resolution number 199-20, resolution instituting travel restrictions for county employees who are traveling on behalf of the county and to limit in-person meetings in response to COVID-19.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Long, Deputy Administrator. As obviously we've already discussed, these are extraordinary times. This resolution refers to both county travel and in-person meetings, limiting unnecessary travel for county employees with the potential to hopefully limit the spread of COVID-19. The CDC issued guidance on March 15th, 2020, that in accordance with its guidance for large events and mass gatherings, recommending for the next 8 weeks, organizers, groups and individuals cancel or postpone in-person meetings consisting of 50 people or more throughout the United States. As you know, that came only days after the governor had indicated 100 people, and after we published this resolution, the presidential address, they started talking about 10 people, so everything is moving incredibly quickly. The other element for both travel and meetings is what this resolution refers to. So in the Be It Resolved clause of the resolution, it would state that only travel that is mandated by state or federal statute or regulation would be authorized. That could include items like inmates or folks in custody in other counties or states, children's services elements, but those examples would be incredibly limited. If there is travel that is requested, there can be a waiver that would be submitted, and that would go through the county administrator before that travel authorization would come in front of the 3 of you commissioners for approval. During this time period, it is a recommendation to all agencies in the county to maximize the use of phone conferences, video conferencing, webinars, email, et cetera, to conduct the county's business. And again, that county meetings and gatherings should follow the CDC guidance, limited to 50 or fewer people, or subject to guidance as we've continued to get that from health professionals. And as we know, that can change immediately. And that this resolution will be, these restrictions and guidance will be reviewed on or after June 1st to continue to provide guidance to our fellow county employees and county agencies. Pending any questions, would recommend your approval.
I just wanted to add to the public, I have directed my own office staff to work from home. We're fully available. You just call the number, our regular office number, if you're trying to reach us, and it would go to their phone. So we'll still have our normal operating hours, but I think we're just trying to follow the cautionary guidelines. That's a little over and above, but you know, again, we'll be available as the public needs to access my office or me, for that matter. So, if there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 199-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 199-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Clerk, are there any journalizations this morning?
One, Commissioner. As is established under Ohio Revised Code, Section 149.38, each county is required to maintain a county records commission that provides rules for retention and disposal of county records. The commission is required to meet at least once every 6 months. As chair of the Franklin County Records Commission, Commissioner Kevin L. Boyce hereby designates Keena Smith, Deputy County Administrator, to serve as his designee and in the capacity of chairperson for the 2020 calendar year.
Okay. As I began the meeting, on the note of Commissioner Boyce, as I began the meeting, I indicated a happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. We, in my office, we are as well doing our best to work remotely and do all that we can under these trying times. I got a note from one of the folks in my office, Annie Risnar, who's at home today working remotely. She had the commissioners' meeting up on the iPad, and as I wished everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day, her little boy said back to the iPad, "Happy St. Patrick's Day." So to you, Linus Risnar, or Linus Smith, I apologize, Linus Smith. To you, Linus, happy St. Patrick's Day. I also would like to take a moment to, a point of pleasure or pride, my daughter Erin is 12 years old today. Normally on St. Patrick's Day, we have the St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Club Irish family reunion. I normally take her up on stage with me and have the entire crowd of about 5,000 sing happy birthday to her. For the longest time as a young girl, she thought that that was her birthday party. Today, that won't be happening. She's at home with the rest of her family. So Erin, happy birthday to you, and we'll sing you happy birthday when I get home later. Everybody else, stay safe, be safe and stay safe, and
Absolutely.
take care of your family. Yes, sir, Dean.
Commissioner, if I might, I just want to remind everyone that the Board of Commissioners is meeting daily at 9 a.m. and except on Tuesdays and Thursdays when we meet at 10 a.m. via conference call for updates of COVID-19. And those watching can dial in at 614-525-7333, and no access code is required.
Thank you, sir. All right, this meeting is adjourned.
Excellent.